Do you find that when you go to these events, people tend to use your API in ways that you haven't imagined, or is it? Do you get surprised?
I definitely get surprised. At Angel Hack in, I think, early 2012, the first one, a company that makes fitness games that are they interact with like the treadmill, and based on like inputs that are coming from the treadmill, it changes how the game is working. They used the Cloud Score they made kind of like a Tron clone, and they used the Cloud Score to change how big your avatar was inside the system and kind of like what color your avatars are.
That's great.
And while that has very little to do with what we actually do as a company, it was a use case I would have never even thought of. And since then, I've been thinking about ways that we can be used as kind of like a seed data for anything. You know,
Sure.
if you're writing a music app and you don't know how to write a melody necessarily, the Cloud Score is from 1 to 100, and there's MIDI notes, and MIDI notes go from 1 to 127. So you're almost all the way to all the MIDI notes you would need just to go scanning a bunch of random users and use their scores as MIDI notes. So it could be in some way just a random data seed if you needed it.
Right.
While
Well,
it
that's
doesn't
entertaining.
benefit us necessarily in the way that we need to, it's still an innovative use that can kind of be there.
Right.
But we've seen also other useful integrations that kind of do that. An app called Trender, which is actually in the TV space, uses us for audience kind of aggregation metrics of TV. So of all the people that are watching The Walking Dead right now, their aggregate Cloud Score might be different than the aggregate Cloud Score of everyone that's watching The Following or something like that. And being able to compare those two audiences is kind of important, and it might say something about the show. And so that's a use case that we wouldn't have necessarily come up with.
Right,
they
right.
found to be very useful.
So you're getting some really good amount of the new ideas and innovation. What about when you think about the success of your business? When it comes to cloud thinking like, wow, everyone's making some crazy stuff with their API. Is it the interesting points of innovation, or is it actually like usage? Do you want to see more people use it, or what are your other metrics?
I think these days, early on, we focused more on just pure usage and pure distribution, essentially, like being in the most places we could possibly be and just have total brand visibility. But now we're focused a lot more on innovation and focused on useful use of our data that will provide more consumer utility, and as we come out with more data that we release, that is a no-brainer for them to consume our new data and make new things out of that as well.
Got it. So to the layman, what's a good example of a good use of the Cloud API that is really beneficial to the world and to you and to your partners?
The curation aspect, being able to take that 1,000 tweets that are happening around, let's say, a TV show all at one time, and being able to select, what are the top 10 tweets that are out of this? How do you actually decide what that is? And utilizing the Cloud Score or relevant topics that you're looking for to filter and whittle that down to being like a core group of the really influential people talking about this and what tweets those are, and being able to filter that down. I think that's really useful, and there's a lot of context that having that information both on the back end side of a company as well as being able to display that in a second screen app and be able to immediately choose what you're going to show there is pretty valuable.
Yeah, because
in any of those situations.
You're actually doing a lot of screening. You're screening out a tremendous population,
yes.
And you're also, putting them into segments in a way.
Yep.
So you're taking a lot of data and making it easier for people to do stuff with it.
Exactly.
So that's great. And, of course, at the heart of that is your API. So how could people check out your API? What should they do? Where should they go?
Just go to developer.cloud.com, or you can go ahead and email us at api@cloud.com, and we'll help you out.
And this is for developers, partners, anyone?
Developers, partners, biz dev people, or just consumers that want to know a little bit more about what's out there for them.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll go through all this and we'll follow up with any questions. But great, I think we're good. Thanks so much.
Thank you.